I just want to say welcome and thank you for joining Second Acts. We are here in the building. You know what I'm saying? And in Second Acts, we talk to people who are locked up all over this country. 2.2 million people inside, behind bars, struggling. And then you have another set of people who are out in freedom, who are out in the free world, who are locked into addiction, locked into bad relationships, locked into jobs they hate, locked into a mindset of they don't matter and they don't count. So we're speaking definitely to people behind the wall, but we're also keeping in mind that there's people in freedom who are struggling and locked up and imprisoned as well in their own space. So I'm gonna get out the way. What I do is just give people the platform because they heard my story. They need to hear your journey. How did you get from your first act of your life to here?
Man, that's a long. I don't know if we got enough time for that, but that's a long.
You got about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
you can take the whole. You can do the whole thing. Be 20 minutes. And be like, all right, y'all, it's been real. We out. We ending there. No questions. But I mean, just break it down for us as best you
most
can.
definitely. No, honestly, man, I'm from Anderson, Indiana. I was the oldest of four boys. Mom Dukes had me at 15. You know what I mean? Mom Dukes was a beast. She had me early. Dropped out of school, went back, took senior and junior classes at the same time, you know what I mean, and graduated on time, you know, so that was kind of like the early on part. My mom was the biggest dope girl in the city, you know what I mean, everybody that was anybody, like, respected her, you know, and to be a female in that space, you know, and to have that level of respect, it was kind of, you know, it was kind of different, you know, and so for me, I was the guy that was the athlete. You know, I was the one that was supposed to make it out. I was the one that, you know, everybody tried to shield me away from everything that, you know, your partners come through and they pay you a couple $100 to make sure you stay, and every touchdown you score, you know what I mean, they're going to pay you, that type of deal. So that was me growing up, you know, and in a small town, just really got a lot of values early on. Granddad did a great job with instilling certain things, the old school, you know, that core value that we had, but I still got in a lot of trouble.
I don't like to cut off. When you said, Mom, beast.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Then you said, Granddad, values. So you know I'm going to ask you, right?
Yeah.
What happened to the guy in the middle?
Man, I don't know. That's a good question. Pops was, you know, I didn't meet my dad till I was 18. I was a sophomore in college, and I met him. My first time ever seeing him, and that was a tough spot. And, you know, growing up without your pops, you always trying to fill that void. You know what I mean? You're always trying to find people that, you know, you can insert certain things, and I had a real problem with it. You know, one of my biggest things now, one of my biggest triggers that I found out was that I had a thing for disappointment, right? So I would always attach myself to men that I thought was someone that I wanted to emulate or be like, right? Whatever you tell me to do, you tell me to run through the brick wall, I'm going to go full speed. If that's what I need to do to get in your shoes, I'm full speed. You know, and what would happen was people would send me through the wall so that they can walk through it, you know, and it would continuously happen. And after a while, I was just like, bro, like, I need to figure out what this problem is, because it would devastate me. They didn't care, you know, but I realized that it was that void of me not having my pops, you know, always trying to find my pops in certain people, trying to take certain skills, take certain things, take certain traits from other people and try to make me whole, and it wasn't doing it, you know what I mean? So that's kind of one of the voids that I had. And then when he passed away, you know, I kind of realized that he didn't even know his pops. Right, so I tell this story all the time. Like, people, I'm an athlete, so I played a lot of sports growing up. So you think about somebody that's a free throw shooter, right? Somebody like Steph Curry. If Steph Curry made 10 out of 12 shots, right? He a great shooter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He a great shooter, right? My dad had 7 kids, right? He was in 6 of their lives, right? He missed 1. You know what I mean? On my end, he looked like the worst dude in the world. Right? But on my brothers and my sister end, he the best father they ever known. You know what I mean? So it's like we're never going to be good enough for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we're never going to be good enough for everybody. But I understood that he never even seen his pops.
Hold on. He's never going to be good enough. You can never be good enough for everybody is a true statement. But this is also a true statement. He should have been there for you.
Oh, definitely.
There's a difference. No. 10 out of 12 free throw is great. Mm-hmm. There's no trauma attached unless you're a fan and it's end of the game to the end of that thing missing.
Right.
That's a game.
Right.
I couldn't sit here as an undercover therapist and let you say 6 out of 7 is okay and I'm the 7th. So for them 6, cool. I have to say he was wrong for not showing up for you, minimally.
No, most definitely.
He didn't have to, but he didn't have to. He had whatever reasons he had, whatever he justified. But minimally, he was wrong for not showing up for you.
Right.
And the fact that he showed up for the other 6 is here nor there.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, most definitely. And I feel the same way. And I think that when you look at it from a standpoint of like, because I try to break things down to the lowest common denominator. You know what I'm saying? Like the lowest form. And so for me, when I found out, and I found this out after he passed away, like he's never, if his dad walked past him, he wouldn't even know who he was. You know what I mean? So knowing how I felt growing up, knowing the voids that I felt growing up, you know, and to understand that, hey, he didn't even know his pops. He didn't even have a father figure. He didn't have his granddad. He didn't have any of that stuff, which is not an excuse, right? But just knowing that, it's like, dang, he got some type of level of pressure where he actually did do a good job, right, with the cards that he was dealt. Now, me being the one that fell by the wayside,
right?
You know what I mean? I'm cool with that because I'm built different. You know, even though it traumatized me a lot, but I was put in that position. That's the cards I was dealt. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna get upset because I got a tunk hand and I think I'm playing spades. I just got to play tunk. You know what I mean? And deal with it that way. And so that's kind of how I approach it. And I just forgive him for that jump. You know, I forgive him for it, and I have to move on because it's something that I dealt with. It wasn't something that he probably dealt with the way that I did. He probably had his own feelings about it, you know. But I had to deal with it the way I knew how to deal with it. You know what I mean? And that's how I moved on. But ultimately, man, I think that all of those different things and all those different steps and barriers and traumas and pain and all that stuff, it fueled me, right? It fueled me in a way that I don't think anybody even knew. So, like, we had this thing back at home. It was the Black Expo where we did, like, a 2-on-2 father-son tournament. And we had a 3-on-3 tournament, all that type of stuff. And at the time, I was the best athlete in my hometown, period, hands down, right? And so I never could play in this tournament. You know, I ain't had my pops, you know. So I would always be like the ball boy or referee or, you know, I would help out in some type of way. But this time, I think I had to be like 12, 13, right? And I'm sitting on the sideline. I'm like, man, I'm not even playing. Like, forget this jump, man. And so they were playing. I see my homeboy and his dad down there playing. I see my other homeboy and his dad playing. And I just started bawling, crying. I'm talking about like broken down. And my granddad probably lived like the next block over. I ran full speed with my basketball in my hand, like 2 miles, full speed crying, right? I ran upstairs, dug my head in the pillow, and cried myself to sleep, right? But when I woke up, I was somebody else. I don't know what happened when I was asleep. I don't know what happened during that time, but I was completely somebody else. And when I woke up, my whole mindset was, I'm going to show you how good I am without my dad, right? I'm going to be 10 times better than everybody that got their dad. And I'm going to force my dad to come to me, right? There's no more. And so I used that anger and that pain as fuel, right? Until I got to a certain level where I went to college, played football, all this type of stuff, where I was very successful at it. But I started realizing, you say you're a therapist, I started to realize that my fuel was pain. Right?
Exactly.
And that's a problem.
At some point, you have to cut it off.
Right.
It'll get you from 13 to 21.
Right.
But what got you from 13 to 21 is not going to get you from 31, 21 on.
Right. Right. And that's what I realized. So now I'm in like a limbo where
do I cut off my source of power?
You see what I'm saying?
Is there another source of power out there?
Exactly.
So I know this power.
Yep.
If I cut this off, which is now becoming unhealthy, can I trust that I can find something as strong?
Exactly. And that was one of the things that, like, one of the biggest transitions that I had was trying to figure out what was that fuel and why was that fuel fueling me through pain. So I had to find a way to transition that thing.
So what became your new fuel?
My new fuel became my family tree, right? So now I look at it like my mom had me when she was 15. My grandma had my mom when she was 16. You know what I mean? Like, nobody in my family really had anything, you know? And so what I look at now is I understand a lot of things. I'm the first to go to college, first to buy a crib, first to buy, I'm the first to do everything, right? And so now I know that it's my responsibility to uproot my family tree and put it in better soil so to bear better fruit, right? So people say, I cannot change anything that happened from me behind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got little brothers, cousins, people that look up to me, right? My goal is to set the bar so high that if they strive to be anything like me and miss, they'll be 10 times better than everybody else, right?
Are you married?
Yeah, married. Yep.
How many years?
6. Yep.
Taking it now. What you did to get her is drastically different. What it's going to take to keep her for the next 50
most
years.
Definitely. Most definitely.
That corny line you use to get to IG, the half a lie you told.
Well, I got her in college though, so it was early on.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah, I got her early. I got her super early.
You got it super early. I'm saying, but the attitude. Mm-hmm. Let me see. I'm happy that you're married, and that's standard.
Yeah.
So we have people who are sitting in cells, sitting in dorms, holding these tablets, saying, "Okay, what do I do? What's the advice you give them for starting over?" Because you had to start over at some point.
Yeah, most definitely.
And you said, "Okay, I went from fueled by, disappointment to fueled by connectivity to the family.
Right.
I'm gonna let my family be my source of power."
Right.
How do you give suggestions or advice on making the start over?
I think for me, what happened was I had to dig up my skeletons. I had to dig them up and deal with them. I had to face them head on. All of the things, I had to really want to be better, right? I had to really want to look myself in the mirror. I used to look myself in the mirror all the time, like eye to eye, right? Like that person staring back at you is the only person you can't lie to. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you can.
Nah.
Listen, people do it every day.
Man, that's the only person that know the real you.
And I've seen people lie to themselves and convince themselves, I'm going to stop drinking tomorrow. I'm going to go on a diet on Monday.
They do that before they say it.
I'm not going to cheat no more. They lie to themselves in that moment. They believe it. Then Monday come or Tuesday come or the drink come, and they're like, well, I'll do it next time. So starting over, what do you say to them?
So I think that the main thing, man, is just like really breaking yourself down, right? Getting rid of the ego, getting all the way rid of the ego, and really looking at who you are and what you want to be and who you want to be an example to, right? So who depends on you? You know what I'm saying? So I was at a point, and I had my business was very successful. I was making a lot of money doing selling smoothies and everything, and I lost it all, right? And so my success level was directly attached to money, right? So when I lost it all, I was at such a broken place.
Your net worth was connected to your self worth.
Yeah, yep. And at that point, I almost committed suicide. I didn't have nothing to fight for. I was like, bro, it's...
Oh, no. You can't go fast on that one. So, athlete, dad, now you got 2 sons.
Yep. Well, no, I got 1 son and 2 daughters.
Okay, you got, at the time, you got 3 kids.
Yeah.
And you're living, the business fails. Mm-hmm. And now you're thinking, like, I shouldn't be here?
Yeah, it was bad. It was a lot. It was a lot of... Like I said, I'm the first to do everything. So I don't have nobody to reach out to. I don't have nobody to talk through this. I don't have anybody. I'm dealing with everything myself. You know what I mean? I can't call my mom and be like, Mom, I'm dealing with this $100,000 loss. She look at me like I'm crazy. You know what I mean? And so me dealing with all that stuff myself, it kept piling. And after so long, you put so much water in the balloon, it's going to pop. You know what I mean?
So what did that look like, you thinking about suicide? Where were you
physically? Physically, I was at my house. I was getting phone calls. I owe this. I took out a title pond to pay my employees. I was just all over the place trying to keep stuff together. And so I was like, you know what, man? I am done. I'm finna go home, freak this junk, right? So I went home, and my phone just kept ringing. I went home, grabbed my pistol. I sat on the couch in front of my TV. I still remember this like it was yesterday. And I set my phone on the table right in front of me. And I was sitting there. I said, you know what? This phone ring one more time. It's a wrap. Like, I'm done. I'm checking out. And so as I was sitting there, and to me it seemed like it was hours, but I guess it was only like this much time, right? And so as I'm sitting there, I'm waiting on the phone to ring, and I'm thinking like, dang, my wife gonna have to clean this junk up, and my little girl gonna walk in on this. You know what I'm saying? And so then I started thinking about my mom, like, man, my mom was on the abortion table and got off. She believed in me that bad, right? Like, then I was thinking about my granddad, my biggest fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, what happened to my granddad? Then I'm thinking about my little brothers and my cousins and everybody that look up to me. It's like, bro, if I do this, there won't nobody stand a chance. Because I was the one that was supposed to make it. If I can't make it, they know they're not going to be able to do it. So as I'm sitting here waiting on this phone to ring, I'm contemplating all these things, right? And so what I did, I was like, you know what? I can't do this jump, bro. That's the easy way out. I said, what I'm going to do, I went and got a notepad. And I wrote down all the names of the people that I just thought about. And I was like, these people depend on me. These people right here, and I get emotional when I talk about it, but I'm like, these people depend on me. You know what I'm saying? And then I looked at it like, okay, what I got to realize is I just didn't see myself. I didn't see no good in myself. So I had to go back, and I had to start seeing the small wins that I was doing. Like, bro, you woke up 30 minutes early today. Like, that's a win. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you spoke to everybody you seen today. You know, I had to identify all of my small wins so that I can start seeing myself again, because all I seen was that I was just messing everything up. Everything I touch, all I'm trying to do is win. I wasn't out here selling dope. I wasn't killing. I wasn't robbing. I'm selling smoothies trying to win, right? And I hit my lowest point, and everybody looking at me like I'm crazy. You know what I mean? Everybody looking at me like a failure. And so, like I said, I was directly attached to my cash. That was my success. That was my driving force. Now, when I ain't had that, I wasn't worth nothing. You know, but then when I started thinking about all these people that depend on me, all the good things I did, all the things that I was grateful for, I ended up writing a journal. It's a 21-day thank you journal, right? And I want to give them to you to give to the people in the prisons and stuff too, because what it did was it helped me to identify myself again.
This is what we're gonna do. We'll take your journal, we'll digitize it,
Mm-hmm.
we'll put it on the platform on the tablet, and then 300,000 people can read it.
Yeah, they can get it. They can get it. And all it is it's just seeing yourself again, right?
What it is the thing that got you from off that couch
Right.
to where you are.
Yep.
That's not a small thing.
Nah.
All it is. No, it's the thing that got you off that couch
Yeah.
and to where you are and where you're going.
Yep.
It's the linchpin between your old life and your new life. So when you got up, you got to thank the gratitude journal, I'll call it. How did you start over? What did you do from there?
So what I did was I cried it out. I'm a big believer in crying, right? I'm a big believer in crying. And
What does crying do for you?
crying is like therapy for me, right? So people talk about going to the sauna or working out, sweating. You get rid of like the purities and like all that stuff in your body. Well, I think the same thing happens when you cry. You do it for your heart and your mind, right? You cleanse your heart and your mind. You purify your heart and your mind once you cry. You get all that stuff off of you. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
emotion.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
an emotional release.
Yeah. And so for me, and I tell people anytime, I tell anybody, I cry, right? And if you want to, I'm with all of it. I want all the smoke too, right? So the second part of that is you're going to get beat up by a dude that cry. You know what I'm saying? So we can handle this one or two ways.
That's going to be like you getting beat up by a dude crying. That's not a good look.
That's not a good look. We can do this one or two ways. You know what I mean? Like, and I want all the smoke. And so, but for me, I understand that I can be emotional, right? I can show my emotion. I can share my emotion. I can be transparent.
You're a football player. How does that work?
Man, look, I want all the smoke. I box too. So,
You run through walls and you knock down walls.
yeah. But I think it's two sides.
But you find out the things that you were holding inside, you couldn't outbox.
Nah, those things I had to deal with. Those are some skeletons. Those things that I have to deal with and be able to be okay with whatever emotion that make me feel.
So I got to ask, what did you do specifically? We don't know exactly, but you have your list of issues.
Okay.
Or skeletons. What did you do to deal with that? Did you like run it out, jog it out, football it out? What did you do to deal with that?
Man, I think honestly, man, I wrote it out, I identified it, and I just started handling it one by one. One of the things that I realized that I didn't have was, as a man, you know, we handle situations right then and there, right? I would always run from them, and then eventually they'd catch up to me, you know, and then I would have to deal with them what I wasn't expecting to deal with them, opposed to, hey, if I feel a certain type of way about something or somebody, I'm going to address that right then and there, instead of me letting it sit on me and I have a certain feeling about it, and then I'm looking at you a certain type of way. You know, just better communication when it comes to those things where
Right.
I'm willing to stand up and look in your eyes and say, look, bro, this is how I feel. You know what I mean? However you take it, this is how I want you to understand. This is how it made me feel. And I'm okay with that, and we still good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I went to counseling.
Yeah.
I went to therapy.
Oh, I got therapy too. I
sat on the couch.
Yeah, I got multiple times.
I had professional problems, I call. Right. I needed professional help.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I tooth hurt, I go to a real dentist.
Yeah.
So when my heart and my head was hurting, I went to a real therapist.
Yeah,
I didn't go to my
definitely.
homie.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on therapy,
I
on
love
counseling?
therapy. I love it. I recommend it for everybody. Everybody got issues. Everybody dealing with something.
Everybody's dealing with something.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody dealing with something. And it's your best interest to figure out what you're dealing with the quickest you can, right? The quicker you can find out what you're dealing with, the faster you can get help with it, the faster you can move forward, and the faster you can grow. Other than that, I feel like a lot of times kids, like as men, wherever that pain threshold is, that's where we are mentally,
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't progress past
you
it.
can't go past that until you deal with that. You know what I mean? So I feel like for me, for the longest time, I was still operating as a 12-year-old boy, as a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm still dealing with pain from when I was 12.
Have you get a chance to go play in the father-son tournament?
I created my own father-son tournament. Me and my,
You got to play in it?
Yeah, me
You
and my
made
son.
your own?
Yeah, I made my own. Me and my son. It's called the Man Up.
Man Up tournament.
Yeah, Man Up. 3-on-3, 2-on-2, father-son.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well, when my son, let me know. When my boy's in town, we have to ball out.
All right, bet.
How old is your son?
He's 16 now.
How tall is he?
He's about 6'1".
Oh, my son, he's 15.
He plays soccer, though.
My boy's soccer, fence, swim, skateboard.
Yeah, he skateboard, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So do you find yourself living out the things you didn't get through your son? Because I do it all the time.
I try to, but I try not to. Because I don't want to, because he's different. He's different than I am. You know
Not try to make him play football, but the things you do for him, are those the things you wanted done for you?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Like, I kiss him on the forehead all the time. He hate it. I hug him. I'm landing. I'm like, I got to give him this love. You know what I mean? I got to give him that love. And I know that it's important as a man to get that love, you know, and not suppress it. You know what I mean? Because that, we all want it. We all want that. Good job. Come here, son. I love you, boy. Like, we want that, you know, but growing up and not having it, you looking for it.
Right.
You know, and those are the voids. Those are the voids that we're trying to fill because we don't have that. You know, so for me, I try to, every chance I get, I want to show him how much I love him, right? I don't want to tell him how much I love him. I want to show him how much I love him.
Got you.
You know.
Now, we always don't have a specialized segment, but I always give a shout out to the sisters because this go to the male and female prisons. You know what I'm saying? So for the sisters who are inside and they might have their value or their esteem low or this, whatever they're dealing with, you know what I'm saying? I need a specific message from you to them.
Listen, ladies, listen. If you're sitting there, you listen to this, you watching this, you understand this, you know, look, you sat down for a reason, right? It was a reason that you had to get quiet. It was a reason you had to get still, right? Somebody wanted your attention. So within that time frame, don't lose out and don't miss this opportunity to sit still and recrown yourself, right? Because recrowning yourself will put you back on the pedestal where you're supposed to be, right? You in a position right now where everybody make mistakes. Everybody one decision away from being right where you at. You know what I'm saying? So right now is the opportunity for you to recrown yourself, study, read, whatever you need to do to get yourself back to where you feel like you're supposed to be and put your crown back on your head.
Fair enough. Shout out to all the female. I'm Framingham, Mass. Shout out. And across the country, man, to all the sisters who are, I'm saying, receiving that.
Yeah.
As they say in church, receive that. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm a company called Smooth and Groove.
Smooth and Groove.
Yep, smoothie. We make smoothies that make you dance. So my concept, man, I tell people all the time, you know, when you go to your grandma's house and you got that plate of food and you with your cousins and everybody in the house and grandma done cook that mac and cheese and them collard greens with that good turkey and everything, and you know, you get in that plate and you eat that food. The first thing you do, you get to dancing, right?
I get that. I can
feel,
see that.
That feel good.
That
feel
good food.
Yeah, that feel good food. So I recreated that.
Put that in your marketing.
Yeah, I did.
Feel good food?
Feel good, yeah.
Gotcha.
So I recreated that feeling and put it in a cup, right? I made it healthy. Call it Smooth and Groove.
That food that made you want to dance.
Yeah.
I used to dance.
Really?
Way back in the days. Don't get me started.
Oh, yeah, you from up top, though. You from up top.
Y'all used to roll around the mud down
Yeah.
south. You know, we want to say to the people, man, we appreciate you coming, man. We appreciate you sharing, and we're going to have you back, man.
Man, let's do it. We're going to make it happen.
All right. Well, with that, second act is coming to a close, but we are not ending. We'll be to see you soon, as I always say. If you want us to come to your facility, because we come to facilities too, holler at your warden, holler at your tablet, hit your kiosk, man. Say you want the Smooth Groove brother to come in.
Get it.
But we'll be to see you sooner than later, man. And peace.
Appreciate it.